Juan Soto, Bobby Witt, and then Ketel Marte, who shows off that bat with a base hit to right. Tatis heads for third. Throw from Judge. Right there. He's gone. Judge, touchdown Tatis. Thrilling stuff.
And we say a pleasant good morning to you. Wednesday here, folks, March the 18th, day after St. Patty's Day. Buddy Sanji in the house here with another edition of Tigers Roar. We don't have the sunglasses on today because LSU has won a couple of games in a row, although the United States did lose in the finals last night to Venezuela in the WBC. Myself, Jonathan Poche, Marty Campbell behind the scenes, making all of us try to look as good as possible on this hump day here in the capital city of Baton Rouge. A lot to get to, and we want to remind you that LSU baseball, not an impressive victory, but a 7-1 dub over Grambling last night. Johnny Holstaff, they will host Oklahoma this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We'll get into all of that. Wade, and I've been saying this on different shows, Mike Detillier and WWL and others, if there's a will, there is a way. Will Wade and NC State got beat last night. Is that his final game at NC State? Is LSU going to throw the line out there with a bunch of money and really, man, just like they did Lane Kiffin? That is the prevailing rumors and innuendos that we've been working on for about 3 weeks. Of course, the Lady Tigers are at home Friday afternoon hosting Jacksonville. They came in as the number 2 seed. If they take care of business, they will make it to the Sweet 16 and promptly get sent out to Sacramento, as has been the norm. Softball finally got on the board. They're 1-5 as they beat A&M 1 game out of 3. And as we know, always a lot of football in the news. Next Monday, Pro Day out at LSU. Next Tuesday, the start of the first spring training under the tutelage of Lane Kiffin. Hope everybody doing well over here at Tigers Roar. We appreciate you tuning into all of our shows on Pelican Sports TV and radio. And without further ado, we say a happy Wednesday to our man across the way, Jonathan Poche. He's the straw that stirs the drink. Had him on the radio show a couple of weeks ago, and the girlfriend the other day says, boy, Jonathan is so much more polished. In fact, he's doing a better job than you, bud, man. So kudos to you, JP. Happy Wednesday.
Oh, thank you, bud, man. Certainly appreciate the kind words. Just trying to survive it. It's been a change in the weather. Hot, cold, hot, cold. The spring's coming up, so a lot of pollen in the air. So my whole family is fighting the congestion. You might hear it in my voice a little bit, but I'm happy to be here on Tigers Roar. Of course, Bud, man, you touched on a lot of sports going on in the world right now. USA, what a thrilling ride they had to beat Dominican Republic. Paul Skeens on the mound to start. Make it to the final, the championship against Venezuela. Of course, they just lacked a couple hits, Bud, man. Had a tie game in the 8th inning, gave up 1 in the 9th, and ended up losing by 1 run. But way to go, USA. Made a bunch of people proud. It was fun to watch. And now baseball season continues with college. And LSU, 1 pitch away from winning the series against Vanderbilt. But that certainly isn't how it feels around Baton Rouge. There's a lot of panic going on. Can Coach Jay Johnson get this group right? Starting pitching has not been good. Bullpen has not been real good. And they're missing that timely hitting, that 2-out hit with guys on base. I do have trust in Coach Jay Johnson. I think he's the best coach in college baseball. So I do think they will get that ship corrected. Get on the right course towards the postseason. But 27 more SEC games, Budman. Not time to panic. A lot going on. You mentioned spring practice for football right around the corner. So a lot going on. Excited to be here.
I don't think panic is the word right now. I think concern is the word. And, look, I specifically remembered last year, folks, that I was pretty critical of Nate Yeskie because they were throwing a lot of fastballs, and he loves to throw that fastball. And you know, when you guys got guys that throw it 95, 96, 97, 98 and can locate and have movement, it obviously is an effective pitch. But I don't think, JP, if we're going to be realistic, that, you're going to see the third year out of 4 that LSU lift up the national championship. Now, why do you say that with so much baseball left to go? It's because of what we've seen and what this team has evolved into. And as we know, They started off good 2 weeks ago. They were hitting 355. Their ERA was under 4. JP, now, when you talk about the pitching, when you talk about the hitting, when you talk about all the fundamentals, it has not been a typical Jay Johnson team. They gave up the walk-off on Friday night, and you should have known it, folks. You know I'm superstitious with 13. LSU was ranked 13th. They gave up 13 walks. They gave up 13 runs, and they got beat 13-12 on Friday, March the 13th. Gavin Guidry had a spotless 8-inning. Unfortunately, got the loss, giving up the walk-off 2-run dinger to lose 13-12. Got dominated on Saturday, 11-3, and then came back. What a must-win for Jay Johnson and the psyche of the team to take them down 16-9. Beat Grambling 7-1 last night, but JP, I just don't see this team with the stars that you need. There's no Cade Anderson, there's no Anthony Ice, and there's no Chase Shores. That's just on the pitching end of it. Can those guys evolve? Can you get more out of your starting pitchers in Kason Evans and Cooper Moore and William Schmidt? That is obvious. But I think the thing that I'm seeing, JP, this team is going to have to hit more consistently with runners in scoring position. Their batting average has gone from 355 now into the 280s. As we said, not with the timely hit. Yes, Jake Brown and Curiel and Milam and others are having a decent year. Brown and Curiel over 300. Everybody else struggling to get to 300. But this team has just got to get better, and I don't know if they will. The transfer portal guys, you don't know if they're not good enough. They're feeling the pressure of being at LSU, the scrutiny that comes with being an LSU baseball player, or if it's a combination of the two, JP.
Yeah, but, man, it's truly to put your finger on the problem. There's a bunch of different issues that come up and bite LSU. Seemingly, they find a different way to lose every game. And Coach Jay Johnson, you'll hear from him later on in this program, he'll talk about he's not a pitching guru, but he kind of knows what winning pitching is. And each guy out that bullpen needs a little bit different of a construction to improve, to get his right, to make sure that he has the right adjustments on the mound. And I think it goes the same way with the offense. Like, each guy has something a little bit different going on. I think Jake Brown is probably the best player in the country right now, but he's having trouble just staying consistent day in and day out. I mean, he's batting over 300, like you said, which is obviously where you want to be in college, but not enough offense, not enough defense. And last year was one of LSU's best defensive teams. They were top 10 in the country, made very few errors, very solid on defense, and they had great starting pitching. You mentioned Anderson and Ianson. And this year, unfortunately, with Kason Evans, he's been a little inconsistent with his breaking stuff, and his fastball isn't 100 miles an hour, so he really has to locate it well. And on top of it, it's expectations. I mean, number 2 ranked team coming into the season, a national champion, bringing in a bunch of new guys who are still trying to find their role on this team. It's just going to take a little bit of time, bud, man. And look, Coach Jay Johnson, he's not going to give up. Let's put it that way. He understands that his team needs his help right now, and to work through this trial, to work through these tribulations, and get the ship righted. But keep the faith. Absolutely, 27 games left in the SEC schedule. You have to eliminate some of the little things like hitting your spots out the bullpen and getting those runners in when they're in scoring position. But if you can kind of just take away a few of those mistakes from LSU, I think they win a bunch of games. But it's a very talented roster, very talented pitching staff. These guys have all done it before. I mean, they have freshman early success in Derek Curiel. Look, I'm not panicked, but, man, yeah, it is concerning they dropped 2 out of 3 to Vanderbilt for the SEC opener when you're ranked number 2 to begin the season. Now you're unranked in the top 25. But this Grambling game last night was an absolute must-win, and it sounds crazy saying that Grambling's going to LSU, but you have to get it right. Take on Oklahoma this weekend. They just got shut out in Hammond, America versus Southeastern, so you can lose any given weekend. That's why it's baseball. It's the greatest game on the planet, in my opinion. You got to bring it each and every game, bud, man. Mental focus is truly going to be a premium. Each team you play, this is their World Series. They want to beat the defending champs, and it's tough to to get yourself up to play teams that are lesser than you, but have to keep the focus, and I think Coach Jay Johnson will prove that his team's in the right direction this weekend.
You know, watching LSU and folks, look, I had all the stats. They're changing each game, but an incredible and an inordinate amount of walks, hit by pitches, wild pitches, pass balls. It's been a mess. And the ERA is over 5 now, and so they've got to clean that up. Then you get into the timely hitting, as we said. JP, you talk about the guys they brought in on the portal. Big Papa had the big home run against Indiana to help let them have 9 runs in the 8th inning and prevail in that game. Looked good the first couple of weeks, but Big Papa has struggled a little bit as of late. Dardar at second base has struggled as of late. His numbers are getting close to the Mendoza line at 200. Obviously, Stephen Milam still not made an error at shortstop. Caraway been bitched the last couple of games by John Pearson. Of course, that's the brother of Josh Pearson. Stanfield is back in left field, which is much needed. Curiel started off slow, but he's coming around, and then Jake Brown's been on fire. I like what Jay Johnson's done, putting Milam in front of him and Curiel behind him. Now, last night he changed it a little bit with Stanfield leading off, Brown at the 2 spot. Curiel and then Milam in the cleanup role. But those portal guys have got to come to the table and do a little bit more. Omar Cerna did have another home run last night. That's his second. Cade Arambidi, JP, we thought he was the most improved player on the team.
Yep.
He struggled with big-time clutch hits and also defense. I don't know if I've seen this bad a defense from the catchers. You know, everybody talks about catchers, but you got to block some balls in between the wild pitches and the pass balls and all the other stuff. You got to clean that up, but Nate Yeske's as good as it gets. Look, you said a mouthful. Jay Johnson's not going to give up. Jay Johnson knows this, but just be honest with yourself. Has LSU or anybody ever won 3 of 4 national championships? I don't care what sport it is.
Right.
And it just doesn't happen. Maybe Oklahoma in gymnastics, maybe some other legendary programs, but I'm not saying the season's over. But unless they hit the ball better, I just don't know how the pitcher's gonna carry them any more than a 15 or 16 win in the SEC. You want to host a regional. Obviously, that's still up in the air now that they've fallen out of the top 25, and that super regional is certainly in doubt. But, you know, the great thing about it is you've got 2 home series this weekend and next. Oklahoma Thursday, Friday, Saturday this weekend, Kentucky next weekend. Then, JP, they go on the road to play at Tennessee and at Ole Miss. They've got to win these 2 next SEC series to put themselves in a comfortable position. If you go 2 out of 3 against OU and KY, you're 5-4 after 3 weeks. If you lose 2 out of 3, you're 3-6, and I just don't know if they could climb out of that kind of hole, JP.
Yeah, but man, you made a great point, and I tend to agree with you. It's not looking like LSU is going to be defending their championship in Omaha, but that's the beauty of baseball. I mean, you can get hot at the right time. This team is absolutely talented enough to turn it on and win a bunch of games in a row. You saw them early in the season, look like world beaters, went to Jacksonville and just dominated. And this team is very talented. They have the talent to do it. They have the head coach to do it, the coaching staff to do it. But, yeah, you're going to have to turn it around quick. The good thing about the SEC is that you can absolutely rise up those rankings in a hurry if you take care of business and win every weekend. Unfortunately, they had to clean up a lot of things before you want to take them to host a super regional. But, look, this is the same group of guys that they brought in and were so high on, had such high expectations about. Very talented. Just had to get some of these transfers to come in, get comfortable, get confident, and start hitting the baseball. Because, you know, hitting's contagious, and once one guy gets going, that can sometimes open the door for other guys. So they have the talent to do it. Just have to put it all together, Bud, man. Execute each and every pitch. That's what Coach Jay Johnson preaches. Be great at what you're good at. And I think that, you know, it will settle down. And truly, one pitch away, Gavin Guidry gets up the walk-off home run, game 1. If they win that series, you're feeling okay about yourself as LSU baseball. Even though it was a disgustingly sloppy game, but man, 22 walks between both teams. LSU was 1 pitch away to win on that Friday night. So, yeah, lots of season left to go. I do have faith that LSU can get hot and make a run, but right now, just not playing good enough baseball to win in the SEC.
One of our new sponsors here at Tiger Roar, as well as Pelican Sports TV and Radio, Goodwood Grill. Good times, good friends, good food, Goodwood Grill, folks, right there on Goodwood Boulevard, 927-7550. Always a thrill at Goodwood Grill. Great daily lunch specials, and they've got stuff that for you practicing Catholics that knock it out of the park on Fridays for your Lenten specials. And as always, we certainly hope that you patronize the folks over at Goodwood Grill. 927-7550. Tell them Buddy and JP sent you over to Goodwood Grill. Quick time out. We come back with some USA tape, some LSU baseball tape with Jay Johnson. Kim Mulkey getting you ready for the postseason. As always, they are a strong number 2, but sitting out the PMAC 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon. They'll play Jacksonville. The second game that night is Texas Tech and Villanova. And, of course, the 2 winners play Sunday. That time has not been released. But everybody expecting LSU to win 2 games and advance to the Sweet 16 in women's, NCAA tournament play, which starts this week. Will Wade will get into that with Matt McMahon and much more when we come back on a Wednesday right here on Tigers Roar, Pelican Sports TV. Hope you're doing well. Back right after this.
Embrace the luxury, safety, and comfort of a new Mazda at Team Mazda. Right now, get 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new Mazda CX-5 or a new Mazda CX-50. Find spring savings on your new Mazda here at Team Mazda on Airline.
When I started this practice over 35 years ago, I had one goal: to treat every patient like family. And over the years, I've watched kids grow up in this office, come back as parents, and now I'm seeing their kids in the same chair. That kind of trust, it's not something we take for granted. This isn't just where we do dentistry, it's where we make people feel at home. Frugier Family Dentistry, where you treat it like family. Call or visit FrugierFamilyDentistry.com to schedule.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
And if you wanted to watch some quality baseball this past week or two, the WBC, of course, the World Baseball Classic ended last night. LSU was well represented. Paul Skeens on the mound, and Breggs played third base. Breggs got a little cold. JP, they always talk about hitting is contagious. And I don't know. I enjoyed watching it. They beat Mexico when Skeens pitched. 10 days ago, whatever it was, 8 days ago, and then got them into the final game as they took down the Dominican Republic. But Venezuela, the first time they've ever made it to the finals, prevailed 3-2. Bryce Harper did tie it up 2-2 in the eighth inning, but lo and behold, Venezuela came back, scratched across and won, and they win 3-2. Great professional baseball, and this is spring training for all those guys, but you can tell how much it means for these foreign players who are all in the major leagues. And here you go, Paul Skeens. I don't know if you'll ever see a better representative of LSU baseball in the near future than Paul Skeens.
Yeah, but man, that's an excellent point. A patriot, a competitor, an ace, everything you want as a starting pitcher for Team USA. Obviously, wears that flag on his sleeve with pride. Was in the academies. Thought he was going to go be a soldier, but then this baseball thing kind of took off. Couldn't be happier for Paul Skeens to represent the country, to represent LSU. Dominated against Dominican Republic, who is, in my opinion, one of the best rosters ever put together in baseball history. USA, obviously, full with stars. Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt Jr., to go through just a few. But yeah, just fell a little bit short. The Bryce Harper did have the big home run against Venezuela in the championship, but he was a little bit quiet throughout the series. It was great baseball, Bud, man. For all the teams involved, truly, all superstars. They all wanted it. It wasn't like the NBA All-Star team out there just for the show. They absolutely wanted it. You could tell by the last call of the Dominican Republic game how upset the Dominicans were of that ball that was called a strike. The WBC is going to change the next time. They're going to have the ABS system implemented because it has to all be fair and take out the human element. There you see Albert Pujols as a skipper for the Dominican Republic. He has a bright future in coaching, but yeah, here's go Paul Skeens dotting up the corner at 99 against Manny Machado, one of the best hitters in the league. He's been one of the best for 10 years, but no shot when you're painting the corners at 99 like that, Bud, man.
I am not shy with opinions on umpiring, and I got to tell you, the Dominican Republic did not like to call third strike to end the game. Actually, I thought it was a good call. Now, I'm looking with red, white, and blue eyes. But did you think that thing was low? I thought it crossed over. It was low when it was caught, but it crossed over and was a strike. What was your call on that final pitch? And as you alluded to, man, that's as good as it gets, folks, with all the stars on both the teams. In fact, Italy, which almost made it to the final, they had a bunch of United States and American players, including Aaron Nola, who was dealing for them a couple of nights ago. So LSU, great representation with the WBC.
Yeah, but man, to answer your question, I did think that ball was a little bit low. Nothing egregious, but there were pitches that were called balls that landed up in the same location throughout the game. But look, that's part of the game. A bender at the knees, it's up to the umpire. He's 1 foot away from the plate. That's all he's looking at, so you got to take his word for it. Great play right there by Aaron Judge, who I thought did a great job in this series being the captain for Team USA.
LSU had struggled so much against Vandy with putting runners on base and then getting them home. And as we know, all those walks and that craziness that you had in the Friday night game, I gravitated to watch this WBC. This is probably the most excited I have been watching in this because LSU, quite frankly, has been really boring to watch. And it's a combination of, as we know, players from all across the world. And, JP, you can tell when you're playing for your country, it just means a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you make a great point, Bud, man. And that was a lot to play for, obviously. Making that $10 million, but you get the bragging rights of, this country was the best at baseball this year through this tournament. Baseball invented in America, obviously, for this America's pastime. A huge tradition here in this country playing the game. But, yeah, you could just tell the star-studded lineups from these other countries, how much baseball has influenced their culture. I heard multiple times last night that Venezuela's pride and the country's ego is all tied to how they perform in baseball. Same for Dominican Republic. They all wanted to show that this is the mecca of baseball. And look, I think if you take those 4 teams, Italy, but they were represented by a lot of American players who had heritage in Italian grandparents or what have you. But those 4 teams, I mean, if they competed every weekend, I'd watch it every weekend, Bud, man. Let them play all the time. I get that the major leagues is coming up, and this is like their spring training. They're getting ready to go make, tens of 20s, 30s millions of dollars to go play baseball. But this was for something different. This is for pride. You could tell all the groups wanted it. It wasn't just USA versus Venezuela, Dominican Republic. Every group wanted it. I mean, Japan. I mean, they're used to being right in it, all the way down from Little League to the WBC. So it was great competition, as you mentioned. It felt a little different for me this time going through, maybe because of Paul Skeens was the ace for USA.
Yeah.
That, you had a little more pride in watching it. But it was very entertaining. I enjoyed it for sure, and looking forward to the next one.
We segue over to LSU baseball, and, of course, as we know, Stanny was out 16 games. Chris Stanfield is back at left field, and not that he's hit any home runs, but he's finally been able to bat without pain. And JP, a much-needed outfielder who can start rallies, catch everything in the outfield, and has the speed. What do you see LSU needing to get better at, and where do you see the fall-off? Open up the season 2 weeks, hitting .355, ERA under 4, and then the next 3 weeks it has been some bad news bears with throwing the ball around, not looking good. As we said, catcher problems. Pitching problems. Right now, we'll see Jay Johnson is meeting with the media as we speak here in moments. And there was a little problem with William Schmidt. He had a little bit of a back strain. They did not think it was serious. We'll get an update on him. Do you keep Case and Evans on the Friday night starter? This week, don't forget, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Cooper Moore. But the bullpen is where it's got to get better. Devin Sheeran is a guy I like a lot. Gavin Guidry's got to find his confidence again. You know what he brings to the table. But a couple of lefties, Santiago Garcia's had a couple of good outings, and Cooper Williams finally got some people out. I just don't know, after seeing them play 22 games right now, they're 15-7, if they've got the talent, JP. You start talking about last year's team and the championship team in 23. I think this team pales in comparison as far as talent goes.
Yeah, Bud, man, to answer your question, to start, you got to have better pitching. You cannot walk this many kids. You cannot have this many pass balls. The catching has to be better, too, blocking some of these balls. But the pitching, it starts right there. It starts with strikes and ends with strikes. And if you're always behind the count, 3-1, 2-1, 2-2, it makes it tough. And these college hitters are very good. If you make mistakes over the plate, they're going to hit it hard. So it starts there, in my opinion. The 2-out hits, I think that'll come with timely, confidence and getting those guys, comfortable in what position they're or what role they're on with the team. But it starts with pitching, in my opinion. A little anecdote: you mentioned Santiago Garcia. Went with the baseball team, which I coached, up to a Saturday game against Sacramento State. LSU drops the game. All the kids, everybody on the team goes down to the right field line, hoping to get autographs. They don't care that LSU lost. They just watched the college baseball game at Alex Box. They were all excited, trying to get some autographs. One player after the meetings came over to the side, talked with the fans, took some pictures, signed some autographs. That was Santiago Garcia. So I think a lot of that young man taking his time to just encourage these children who came out to watch him play. Happy he got his opportunity, and I think he's going to do well for LSU in the bullpen out that lefty spot. Look, there's a lot you can put your finger on, Bud, man, of how this team can improve. But in my opinion, it starts with pitching, and the catchers have to be better too. Can't have that many pass balls, wild pitches. Got to try to knock something down. Keep these runners at the bases they're at. Can't give them free passes. Starts with pitching, but hitting also has to improve. Defense, I think LSU has played pretty good defense. I mean, outside of the pass balls, the defense has been pretty solid. So, yeah, starts with pitching. Got to have timely hitting. But I think somebody's got to set up to be the guy. It hasn't been Case and Evans so far. Cooper Moore had a phenomenal start to the season. I think at one part he had like 20 strikeouts and 2 walks.
Yeah.
I think maybe switch it up. Maybe let Cooper Moore go Friday. Maybe Case and Evans go Saturday. William Schmidt on Sunday. I'm not sure what the answer is, Bud, man, and I do trust in Coach Jay Johnson, but pitching has to improve, and I wouldn't mind seeing a little change up in rotation on the weekends.
All right, enough of our chatting and knocking it around and chewing the fat. Here's Jay Johnson, followed up by Chris Stanfield. He gives you the latest, both these guys, on the state of LSU baseball. And cheer up. It's a long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But they've got to improve fundamentally very quickly because you've got 2 heavyweights coming in here and then 2 heavyweights on the road. Here's Jay Johnson, followed up by Chris Stanfield.
I guess, Coach, what did you make of the first 7 innings offensively, and then just the 8th inning there, I guess, to kind of create the separation?
Yeah, I mean, credit Grambling, I mean, they threw their entire weekend rotation, today in this game. And, a couple of the key relievers. And we had plenty of traffic. We didn't get a 2-out hit when we needed to. So I don't make a ton of it. I was glad to see we got some separation at the end. It was a really important game to win. It was an important game to win. So.
Guys out of the bullpen threw well. Cooper finished the game on Sunday and picked up where he left off. Just how impactful is that, and what's he?
Yeah, it's huge. It's going to be. He's good. He's a good pitcher. He's had He stubbed his toe a couple times, like several of these guys have. But he's a big part of our now. He's a big part of the future, and I'm really proud of him. That was an electric 9th inning the other day, these guys can hit. Like, I watched them for 3 games with my own eyes when they were here in that little tournament deal. And, we made a lot of good pitches, and I think we walked 1, maybe more. It felt like it was only 1. Yeah, 2, okay. But he went through the top of the order there, and those guys have put up some numbers. They scored some runs at Southeastern Louisiana. They scored 14 on Sunday. So he did a nice job with their better hitters right there.
Was the plan coming into tonight, did you want to see as many arms out there as you did?
No, I wanted to win the game. It may not make sense to all of you. Like, this was a must-win game. Like, to me, knowing how all this works, this was a must-win game. So it's the way it goes, and it was about matching them up and lining them up. I think Grant Fontenot did an excellent job today, and I'm really proud of him. He's got a good arm. He's improved a lot. It just hasn't quite lined up. He was up in the pen. He was almost going to come in the game Sunday like 3 times, and I shifted how we were doing because Devin was throwing the ball really well. But no sour grapes, just kind of kept working. We've made some adjustments the last couple weeks, and he executed well today.
I guess Omar did not only catch for you guys tonight, but also scored 3 of your first 4 runs. What did you make of his offensive day at the plate?
Outstanding. He's got a ton of ability. It's fun to have him here. He's one of the first guys we actually committed, because he committed before the rule changed of when you could talk to guys. And I was watching the 14U National All-America game, and they were listing what's the dream school for every player. And this dude, it says LSU. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And he proceeded to hit a double off the top of the fence at JetBlue Park in Fort Myers. And it's like, I need to figure out what's this guy's deal. And then he came up the next at bat, hit another double off the top of the fence at 14 years old, and caught some good innings. And so we were able to make him a priority and get him here. And he's just a good kid too, man. He's really talented, but he's got the right mind. I love how slow the game is moving for him, offensively and defensively, and I think he's one of the most talented players on this team.
Does he have the most raw power, do you think?
I would say so, yeah. I would say so. Yeah.
How challenging is the Thursday start when you're trying to balance a must-win game on Tuesday and then being?
Well, yeah, it's it's our only one, which is until the last one, which everybody has it, which is kind of ironic. That didn't move Easter this year, so it just kind of is what it is. We needed to win this game tonight, and we're plenty good setup, and especially with how it went. I think it's going to be important. We need these guys that we need to be good to throw. I think the command across the board wasn't great, obviously, this weekend. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. So I think one of the ways in the past that has helped my pitching staffs, whether it's here or other places, getting some guys on the mound repeatedly. And it kind of went under the radar last year because we won the national championship, but we actually did that with a few guys, and it helped some of the younger guys throw more strikes last year. So kind of something, we itemized a bunch of stuff for the pitching staff yesterday while we were stuck in Nashville. It's a good start to that tonight. I was proud of them.
And so you just sort of touched on it a little bit, but I am sort of curious if you had any other, ideas, plans, whatever, to sort of get these guys. It was a good night for you guys as a whole from the bullpen, but to find that consistency.
Yeah, no doubt. It's stepping up our game. You know what I mean? Anybody, this is when the players need us the most. And so I'm not a pitching guru. I know what winning pitching is, though, at this level. And I know where I believe some of our shortcomings are. And it's just tightening up some preparation things or taking them like to another level, in terms of, what we're doing bullpen-wise with the starters, you know what I mean? And making sure that that's as tight as it possibly can be. If there's a pitch execution for a reliever, like their catch play, it has to like mirror what the improvement needs to be. Like you only have so many throws as a pitcher. Hitters can swing all day. Pitchers can't throw all day. So the quality of those have to really, really be lined up. And there's nobody better than Coach Yeskie at that type of stuff. So I feel good about that. With the bullpen, is it, how are we getting them ready? Making a small adjustment in my communication down there to overly ensure they know exactly what we want them to do when they're coming in the game, which I, just stepping stuff up like that a little bit. Making sure they are clear what their pitch-to-pitch adjustment needs to be. It's like everybody knows you can't walk people. Everybody knows you got to throw 2 of the first 3, but how do you do that and execute those things? And there's a different answer. So some guys it's changed their sights. Some guys it's changed their something mechanically, for each pitch. Some guys it's just a mental reset. And, I thought when we missed, we got back in the zone tonight. And they should. They're good. We have a good, talented pitching staff that has not pitched good. So it's just like digging through all of these layers, you know what I mean? How to use guys, how to, call pitches with guys, just literally unpacking all of it to help them because they need some help right now.
Do you have like an
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Happy to be back out there with the guys for sure.
How does it feel?
It feels pretty good. It was cold today, so it was a little stiff, but feels good.
How long did it take for you for it to feel like, how frustrating was it just having to go through that, and how long did it take for you to feel like, okay, I can really swing a bat here?
Yeah, it was a little frustrating, but, I'm a man of faith, so I trust in God. And, I came back it was only 4 weeks, so pretty speedy. And, it is what it is. Injuries are part of the game, so I'm just happy I can be back out there.
What did you do in the meantime to stay sharp?
I stood in a lot and just tracking on our pitchers, but I couldn't swing.
Initially, did you think you'd be out longer?
I really didn't know at first. It was pretty swollen and really bruised, so I just was kind of taking it day by day.
What was the play that made this happen?
I slid into home the second game of the season, I think in the eighth inning, yeah. And
Step on it?
he dove into it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Did you realize it was that bad at the time, or you thought it was no big deal?
I thought it was no big deal because I actually went back out to play defense, and then it swelled up that night.
What's allowed you to kind of, as you've returned to play, catch on offensively so quickly?
Yeah, just using my experience, I'd say just, really dry reps and just visual reps when I was on the bench during the games and just watching, learning stuff from guys like Derek, Jake, and really, older guys too, like York, and watching some of the pitchers, how they pitch other guys, just kind of staying in the game even though I couldn't physically impact it.
You have to kind of build your confidence back up as you get a hit or two here and there.
Yeah, I honestly believe I'm one of the most confident people in the world, so I kind of just bring that. But definitely, seeing the results helps.
All right, folks, we're going to take another quick timeout. Don't forget about our folks over at Bayou Apparel. Everything LSU, this hat, this shirt, all of the LSU Tiger Powerhouse shirts for baseball season. They've got it for them. Go to LSU, everythinglsu.com, and check out all of the great stuff that they have for you Tiger fans. Quick timeout. We'll get into a little basketball. Is Will Wade coming back and going to be the Tiger coach? We'll get into that. Kim Mulkey also going to let you hear what she thinks about the upcoming weekend. Once again, Friday afternoon, LSU and Jacksonville in the PMAC. Of course, later that night, Texas Tech and Villanova, the winners will play Sunday, to be determined on a time. But LSU fans expecting to breeze in the first 2 games here in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center starting this Friday and finishing up on Sunday. Back with more on Tigers Roar and Pelican Sports TV.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Ready for a new truck? Then now's the time to get set and go to Team Toyota. Drive a new 25 Tacoma for just $299 a month, or get 2.99% for 72 months on a new 26 Tundra. It's time to save on your new Toyota and join the team at Team Toyota.
Treads and Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads and Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads and Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads and Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And we welcome you back. We think most of the cold weather is gone, but a little chilly here on this Wednesday, March the 18th. Let's get right into it. JP, who coaches LSU men's basketball? Here's what I've been saying for the last 3 weeks. If LSU can get Will Wade to come from NC State, they got beat on the play-in game like Texas last night, so they are done for the year. And I've heard the same thing, JP, with the interest of bringing in Will Wade as we did with Lane Kiffin. And it's basically, it doesn't matter how much money it's going to cost. They want Will Wade to be the coach next year. If they get him, he will be the coach. If they won't, they will not open up the search, and Matt McMahon will be back next year. I think the big thing here, JP, NC State did not follow through with what they told Will Wade as far as what they would have from a monetary standpoint for NIL. And look, that's what it takes. You've got to have players, and to get players, you've got to have sugar daddies and collectives and money. And so I think by the time we do Pelican Sports TV again in a week or two, we're looking at a decision being made. Your gut feeling, I don't want to put a percentage on it, but I'm highly convinced that Will Wade is going to be the next LSU men's basketball coach.
Well, Bud, man, if you give me the choice of bringing back Will Wade or letting McMahon go another year, I'm hoping for Coach Will Wade. I mean, the basketball program has been the absolute sweller dwellers for the last 4 or 5 years. And look, it was always like, wait till next year with Coach Will Wade. At least it was exciting. He had NBA talent on the roster that he was developing into something that you can get behind as an LSU fan. This has been abysmal these last few years for LSU basketball. I mean, to be 16th in the SEC, and truly each year it's the same story. You know, you start off hot, you win a bunch of games, and you get to the SEC tournament. SEC is part of the schedule, and you can't win a basketball game. So nothing against Coach McMahon. I've heard he's a very decent human being. He's been a pleasure to have on the LSU campus. But to me, I think the writing is on the walls. I think the people that can write the checks want Will Wade back in Baton Rouge. And look, money talks, Bud, man. And if you're asking what my opinion is, I think Will Wade is the next coach of the LSU basketball program.
Wade Roos, the president of LSU, had a relationship with Will Wade at McNeese. Of course, Lee Mallett, now the chairman of the board, is very tight with Will Wade. And the governor, Jeff Landry, wanted Will Wade a year ago. So we'll see how that all plays out. No question about Kim Mulkey. She did lose a couple of assistants. Gary Reedus, has taken a head job at Rutgers, and he is over there now. He's brought Daphne Mitchell, one of his big-time assistants, so she's short 2 coaches as they go into postseason. Lady Tigers, once again, 5 o'clock against Jacksonville. Here is the legendary Hall of Famer, Kim Mulkey, talking with the media, setting up this weekend.
Let's do this.
All right, just raise your hand, we'll get a mic.
Kim, your thoughts on the draw and heading out west if you take care of business here?
Go west, young man. Who sang that? Haven't you been told? It's a country song. Y'all let me know. Look it up. That's what y'all do. Y'all believe everything you read anyway. Come on, Jock. Y'all figure it out. Yeah, let's talk about Jacksonville. Tell me who all's in that league. Abilene Christian, everybody's moved around a lot. Who's in the Jacksonville Conference? Anybody know? Did they win the league? That's why Coach Bob's across the street. He'll have all that ready for us tomorrow. Everybody's good. Everybody's either won their leagues. Jacksonville, who all's in that league? So they won the tournament. Okay. What's their record? What is it? Pretty good team, huh? Texas Tech and who was the Villanova? Villanova will like it here with all the Catholics we have in Louisiana, right? I'm familiar with, obviously, Krista, the coach at Texas Tech. She was a great player there, if y'all remember. She played with Cheryl Swoops, won a national championship for Marcia Sharp. And don't know the coach at Villanova and don't know Jacksonville. So for the 3 that are coming here, that's as much as I know tonight. You're always excited this time of year. After you look at the bracket, you'll study and you'll ask yourself, I don't understand that, but that's what happens every year. So as you see, the SEC doesn't give you a good S-curve, does it? Because were we the first 2 seed? And we're going to have to play, normally the first 2 seed, right, would play the 4th 1 seed. But that's how good our league is. And so it was kind of easy to deduct who you probably were going to see. You just didn't know if it would be UConn or UCLA.
After the SEC tournament, did you feel like everyone needed to kind of rest and reset a little bit?
Oh, I think, yeah. I mean, I think all of us do. I think probably every school gives their team a few days off and just start over. Everything you've done is history, and scratch it off and put a big X on it and go, let's start the real season now. So it'll be good to be back on the floor. We've been on the floor since Wednesday, but it'll be good to be back on the floor and know who we're preparing for. The unknown is you're not just preparing for Jacksonville. You got to do your homework on the other 2, because should you win, you don't know who you're going to play. So we'll be prepared.
Is Daphne going with Gary?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you plan to?
But didn't I already say that?
I don't think so.
I didn't? I thought I said
you said on the radio that she might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just how do you plan to prepare? Do you utilize your coaching staff? Can you get any additional staff for this time?
Oh, no. Y'all don't understand job responsibilities, okay? Daphne and G are our recruiters, okay? I have one person that does scout reports, and that's Bob. So Bob will do what he normally does, and on the floor coaching, you'll just move Simone to fill in for G on passing drills and probably move maybe Joe down here with Bob. Yeah.
So they don't help with game time substitutions or anything like that?
No, they like to make suggestions. All of them do. But no, Bob is a lot of coaches will give scouting reports to multiple assistant. I like hearing one voice. And Bob's in charge of matchups, and yeah, we'll just have 2 chairs that they won't be in, and but as far as responsibilities, no.
It's the first time you've had a 2 seed here. I know you like to say that you didn't need one before and you got as far as you did, I guess. But does it mean anything? Does it change anything?
Well, I think it should be written. This is our 5th year doing this, and this is the highest seed that we've had ever at LSU. If you couldn't get a 1 seed, you're the first 2 seed. That's progress. That shows you're heading. The trajectory is up. The trajectory is already up when you won the national championship, but I think that needs to be written. I think it's going to get lost in everything. It's going to get lost in the fact that, we're playing UCLA for the 3rd time in 3 years, if we get to that point. I shouldn't say play them. We're in that region because I don't look ahead. My focus will be on the 1st and 2nd round games here. But don't get lost on what we just accomplished.
Obviously, point guard play is always important in the postseason. What's maybe something that's a little less talked about, but that's important to you to have success in the postseason, to make a run in a tournament like this?
I think a lot of coaches like to talk about the fact that guards are what you have to win championships. And that may be true if that's your philosophy and your system and you don't have a post player. We're playing against some of the best post players in this particular bracket. Big, tall, everything runs through them so that the guards do better. So I don't buy that it's a guard deal in the playoffs. If you got a post, your posts are usually going to be what your offense runs through. We're going to continue to do what we do. I think we have some seasoned young ones now. When you go through the SEC, as y'all well know, it's kind of a breath of fresh air to get out of there and just start the playoffs. So you just got to be playing your best basketball at the right time. All 5 on that floor, and even the bench.
Kim, as you watched the bracket unfold and you saw where some of the other SEC schools were heading, were you thinking, boy, they could do some damage there? Or like,
God, I really didn't pay attention to who they would be playing or what region they were in. I do remember, wasn't Ole Miss? Was there any other SEC team in our bracket? Yeah, it's just kind of hard to remember. I'm sure Ole Miss, were they a 5 seed or something? And they're sitting there going, oh, man, we were so close to being a 4 seed. Yeah, I want them all to do good. I hope we see SEC teams when we all get to Elite Eights. But how many did we get in? How many SEC teams made it? I don't even know. Yeah.
Coach, this might be a little bit of a premature question, but how do you think your depth is going to help you guys throughout the tournament?
About the same that it has all year. We've played 8, 9, sometimes go the whole bench, depending on the score of the game. Not afraid to play them. You got to have depth. And when you do have depth that's seasoned and comfortable and confident, it helps you. It helps you. Now, you only got to win 6 games to win it all, so it's not like you got to really rest people like you do through a regular season. I mean, you're subbing, but you're not subbing to rest. You're subbing because you need to sub at that moment. What are you resting for? There is no tomorrow.
There's a debate for the top overall seed, UConn versus UCLA. Do you have any strong feelings about which team should have gotten that mark?
No, I don't. I can see both ways. This is what I say it every year, and I've tried to tell y'all, there is no formula that the 12 people sitting there follow. They end up having to do what they have to do to make things work, right? If you just went by a formula, we'd be playing South Carolina. We'd be in that region, right? Well, they're not going to do that. Well, they sure not going to put you with Texas either. So the next in line was obviously the 2 seed. There's always the argument that how many ranked teams did UCLA play this year? And there's always that argument, well, they didn't play many. How many times have you heard my non-conference strength of schedule? And we still had a 5 net this year. We're the number 1-2 seed. There's just no formula. So there's 12 people in a room trying to figure it out and do the best that they can. They have some parameters, they have some guidelines, but it screws it up when you got a league like the SEC. You can't follow the S-curve. I do hate it for LSU fans because it would be so convenient to go to Fort Worth. So we'll go, see, we were in Albany last year. We go back to Sacramento. Where were we the year before that? Yeah, so we've been a long way away, right? It's, I think they do it because they just know LSU has a lot of money and can afford to do that, right? No, I'm being facetious.
Just curious, how have you seen the quality of the teams 1 to 64 improve in this tournament over the years? Because
well, it's not just in the NCAA tournament, Jock. I've seen teams improve throughout the season because of money. NIL makes everybody better, or worse, I guess. Could make you worse if you don't have the money and you lose players. But I think you're seeing, because of NIL money, revenue share, you're seeing a lot more parity.
All right, so don't forget, Lady Tigers at 5 o'clock on Friday. Baseball this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Of course, softball once again struggling to get back. Oh, by the way, got to tell you, Baton Rouge, it wouldn't be Baton Rouge without politics. I'm going to go on a rant. Save the City Park Golf Course. What are you doing, Breck? Listen to the people. Listen to the survey. There's no reason to give up a 100-year, unbelievable City Park Golf Course. They are trying to shut it down. They're trying to shorten it. Folks, we're going to talk more about it in our coming shows on radio, TV, and internet. Save City Park Golf Course, 100 years celebration, and they want to get rid of it. Only in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, would you see this kind of crap once again. We'll see you next week as we talk with you about all of the LSU sports. I get fired up. Save City Park. If you care about junior golf and City Park Golf Course, let those commissioners at Breck know. See you next week, everybody, right here on Tigers Roar and Pelican Sports TV.